Well, she lied about the terror attack in Benghazi. Then she lied about her role in unmasking members of Team Trump. But now former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice is suggesting recent scrutiny on her is due to her race and her gender. In an interview with New York Magazine, she says, quote, "What do you think? I do not leap to the simple explanation that is only about race and gender. I'm trying to keep my theories to myself until I'm ready to come out with them." So does she have a point? Here to debate this is Free Think Media's Camille Foster and journalist and radio talk show host Jamila Bey. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, Camille, I'll start with you. What do you think? Do you think that she's using this sexism and racism? Is she using that to blame the media for her own lies?
Well, unfortunately, it's become pretty conventional for folks to use race and gender or allusions to discrimination on that basis as a dodge to not talk about the issues that are substantive. And I don't want to overstate the case here. I am skeptical of a lot of the more overwrought claims about Benghazi. I'm a lot less concerned about some of these other things. But the fact of the matter is the reason that she's come under scrutiny is because she was a high-profile Obama official. There is zero evidence whatsoever that she has come under unique scrutiny because of her race or her gender. And it doesn't matter how many times people state the fact that she happens to be a woman or that she happens to be black. Simply stating that fact is not proof of discrimination.
Yeah, Jamila, she went on 5 Sunday shows after Benghazi. She blamed the video. That happened to be false. We learned the truth after that. She said that Bo Bergdahl, the deserter, was serving with honor and distinction. That was false. He was charged with desertion. Then she said during Spygate that she doesn't know anything about unmasking. That turned out to be false. She later said that sometimes she did unmask, that she wasn't leaking, though, and it wasn't for political purposes. So she lied. Those are 3 different examples of her lying at the national level. So can she blame sexism and racism?
First of all, I'm glad that Camille admits that many of the claims around Benghazi were indeed overwrought. So I know that we're dealing in fact here. What I do want to point out, however, is that the fact of the matter of Susan Rice being an African-American woman doesn't mean that that had no bearing upon how she was treated by senators, by the media, and so on. We know there's a great body of evidence and research that illustrates that women do come under more scrutiny for doing the same jobs that men do. We do recognize this, and we can look at it, you know, it doesn't have to be only an African-American woman.
Why not appeal to the facts here? There is zero evidence that there was any discrimination in this particular case. I think we can just talk about that.
And Susan Rice herself in that interview says, I'm keeping my theories to myself. Did the fact of who I am have something to do with that? Perhaps. Yeah. When we look at the way Hillary Clinton was treated, if we look at the way Nancy Pelosi is treated, if we look at the way that Sarah Palin has been treated, women do face undue scrutiny.
Yeah, this is national politics. I don't think this is particularly interesting. Let's stick to the facts here. Let's talk about the substance. You and I agree that there is a great deal about Benghazi that is overwrought. I'll tell you what's not overwrought about Benghazi, and it's the broader Libya policy and the failure of the Obama administration's foreign policy, and quite frankly, in many ways, the continuation of that failure.
The press secretary at the time,
Jay Carney was a mouthpiece for the administration.
Who should have been taking more of the heat.
Was the ambassador to the UN, and she was the
let me stay with our topic. Jamila, Condoleezza Rice, how do you think she was treated? Because Susan Rice said that Condoleezza Rice, who was the former Secretary of State under President Bush, that she took the same heat. She just said she's taking it worse. Do you agree with that?
I don't know offhand, to be honest. I think that Condoleezza Rice, when we look at portrayals of her in international media and U.S. media, calling her a raven and you know, the whole military boots thing, the Secretary of State of the United States had to defend a fashion choice that was actually a really fierce one. I think that looking at the way women are boxed in and the way that appearance and superfluous things actually have to be discussed at all is something that we really should be advancing beyond.
You know, Camille, I can understand when you're talking about gender, when you don't get equal pay and that kind of thing. But when she didn't do her job and when she lies over and over and over at the national level, on national television to all of us, and people died in Benghazi, Why does it have to be about sexism? Why does it have to be about racism? Why can't it just be on the facts and her record?
Well, I think speculating about racism and gender, I mean, the most you can do there is speculate, and it's easy to make those accusations. But as I said, I think the real problem is the Libya policy more broadly, not Benghazi narrowly. There's been an extensive investigation into Benghazi, lots and lots of money spent, no smoking guns. It is true that they went out with half-baked intelligence and made a case that was beneficial to the administration and not necessarily on the merits. But the broader policy failure in Libya is worth talking about. The administration, unfortunately, is actually let off the hook when conservatives narrowly focus on Benghazi rather than talking about the fact that Libya is still in disarray. The Libya policy, which Hillary Clinton called smart power, but is really just failed foreign policy.
All right, we'll have to bring you back if you want to talk about that then too, Camille. We'll be glad to do that. Thank you so much, Camille. Thanks for Jamila for being with us this morning. Great to see you both.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, coming up.